A little leaven or yeast will make a mass of dough rise. You know, Jesus has used this analogy positively in the other gospel texts, like in Matthew chapter 13, to describe the kingdom of God, how the kingdom of God works. In today's gospel, he applies the same metaphor of the leaven, but this time negatively, to describe the hypocrisy of the Pharisees. The other day I told you how the word hypocrisy, which originally meant play acting, pag-aartista, in ancient Greek theater, came to mean pretentiousness. You know, I remember many years ago in a birthday party which I attended, the former President Joseph Estrada was suddenly introduced by the program's host as a surprise guest, and everybody was really surprised. But out came the comedian actor Willie Nepomuceno, mimicking the former President Estrada. He must have acted out the role so well, some of the elderly people at the party actually believed that it was President Estrada. It was not until later that they realized that it was just an actor. Through play acting, an actor can pose as another person. The fake one can present himself as the real thing. This is okay when it is done only on stage. In fact, it is regarded as an art, a performing art. But it is different when it is done in real life. It is pretension, falsehood, or plain hypocrisy. I also told you the other day about breaking one's palabra de honor when there is a contradiction between what is said on the one hand and what is true on the other hand. For Jesus, this contradiction is not going to be resolved until the time will come when what is spoken in the darkness will be heard in the light. What is whispered behind closed doors will be proclaimed on the housetops. Well, because Jesus expects his disciples to be advocates of the truth, and Jesus says, the truth alone can set you free. He teaches us to develop a discipline of discernment in order to be able to unmask evil, which often operates like a wolf in sheep's clothing. There are many instances in the Gospels when the evangelists tell us that Jesus knew what was in the mind of his detractors. And you know, people often take this to mean that he had supernatural powers to read the thoughts of people. But they often forget that Jesus was as human as all of us in all things except sin. I don't think reading minds is about superpowers. I think it is about discernment. Discernment, you know, is a gift that can be developed. It is a discipline that requires a lot of sensitivity. What we call in Filipino, pakiramdaman. You don't really need a lie detector to be able to detect liars in society. What you need instead is a constant practice in human interaction that involves interpreting behavior, body language, facial expression, the capacity to pick up not only what is being said, but also what is not said. Sometimes, without realizing it, you're actually giving yourself away, no matter how hard you cover up the truth. You know, it is easy for parents, for example, to know when their children are lying. Because in general, children are very truthful. And it takes a lot of effort for them to be able to tell a lie with a straight face. What are the signs that a person is telling a lie? Well, for the ones who I call neophyte liars or non-professional liars, the common signs are very easy to detect, actually. Like, they cannot even look at you in the eye. You find them swallowing their saliva more often. They will also pretend to clear their throat, yung when there is actually no obstruction in the throat. Their nostrils dilate, close open. They get fidgety. They sweat profusely. They stammer or over-explain. They volunteer irrelevant information in order to get you to talk about something else. Pang-distract baga. There are indicators that the question is making the respondent very nervous. Well, I happen to belong to a family of lawyers who are used to cross-examining witnesses. It can happen that the cross-examiner is able to put the witness on the spot in such a way that he is able to ferret out the truth from him. And when people are cornered, when people are caught flat-footed, as they'd say in English, oh my goodness, they can change from defensive to offensive. And some of them can get vicious and violent. And I am sure there were many people who warned Jesus of the danger of calling a spade, or the danger of truth-telling. In Tagalog, the common warning is, mag-ingat ka, baka balikan ka. He might get back at you. This is a common reason why some people would rather not pursue the truth anymore. Because they know that the task can be hazardous or life-threatening. The liars who don't want to get into trouble will try to get you into trouble ahead of them if they don't succeed in intimidating you or getting you to just shut up. This is also why it is more common nowadays for people to just play safe. See no evil, hear no evil, speak no evil. For people to remain indifferent. But you know, Jesus challenges this attitude. Yes, you can avoid being harmed physically, but you don't realize that your silence is also hurting you spiritually. And that is why he says, do not be afraid of those who can hurt only your body and can do no more. He is warning us about the more serious danger of being corrupted spiritually, of bearing with a tormented conscience, of being alienated from God. You know, when the discussions get serious and really tense, magaling si Jesus, he has a way of lightening it up by injecting a little bit of humor. And among his favorite metaphors of confidence are the sparrows of the sky and the lilies of the fields. Minsan sinabi niya, don't you even wonder how the sparrows, even they don't make a living, they don't plant, they don't sow, they don't harvest, but they don't go hungry. Someone's feeding them. Well, don't you wonder why the lilies of the fields are so beautiful? They're dressed more beautifully than King Solomon, he says. And then he delivers the punchline. Abay, di hamak na mas mahalaga naman kayo. kaysa sa mga maya at sa mga bulaklak sa kaparangan. You are worth more than the sparrows and the lilies. And to make his audience realize how precious they are in the sight of God, while at the same time making them laugh about it, I imagine Jesus before a man who's beginning to lose his hair, medyo nakakalbo na, and only a few strands of hair are left on his head. And I imagine Jesus coming close to him and holding the precious hair and saying, "Every hair of your head is counted."